Okay, why is it doing that? All right, let's see. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Cassie. How are you? Welcome in. Give it a minute here to get all caught up here. As you can see, the kitty there. It's raining out. The sidewalk is all wet, so they're in here with me. I've got to go through here and rearrange everything because they've got it destroyed. So, what's everybody been up to today? First off, can you hear me all right? Does it sound good? 5x5? 0x0? Oh, wow. The chat just jumped. Hi, Thomas. Cassie says, doing good. Jamie says, how are you, Chris? I'm doing good, Jamie. So, with all the stressful stuff that's been going on the last couple of days, I just wanted to get on here and talk with y'all. I'm not doing TikTok today. Well, I'll do TikTok, but I'll do it this evening. I'll hop on and do that over there. Thank you, Jamie. But I know it gets grueling for you guys when we're doing that because I've got to talk to two different sets of people, and it just I know it's frustrating. So Cassie's redoing seating charts. There's Mr. Cal. Hello, Mr. Cal. Everybody congratulate Mr. Cal on passing his final exam for his security thing. Congratulations, sir. Jamie's gotten things taken care of, cleaned up her counters and stuff. Very cool. So, I think today the big thing I want to take care of, and the thing I want to talk about, is self-care, because right now, with how emotionally charged everything is in this country, if you don't take care of yourself, you are going to get lost in your own mind. Okay. If all you do, let me move this over this way a little bit so I'm more centered. There, that's better. If all you're doing is watching YouTube videos or watching stuff on Charlie Kirk, or you're watching stuff on how people are being ugly to each other and this and that, it's going to affect your mental health. You know what I mean? Jamie says it's crazy right now. All right, so I have to. I'm reading off of this other thing, so I've got to try and get it to where I can see both. So sorry, that's why I'm moving these around. But we have to keep an eye on each other. We have to make sure we have to make sure we're all okay. Okay. We need to be that community. Because if we're not, we're going to let someone down. Thomas says, tune out the news and tune into your soul and family. I'm going to pin that. Well, I don't think it's that you're tired of the videos on him. It's that you're tired of seeing the same thing about him. Everybody's trying to show videos of him being pew-pewed again. They want to throw these conspiracy theories out here about what really happened, and they want to talk about this and they want to talk about that. Let's just let the man be buried in peace. And let it cool down for a little bit. And then, after people have themselves mentally sound and have dealt with the problem that happened, then we can talk about the conspiracy theories and that sort of thing. Cal says Charlie would not want us stressing over this stuff. Think of it like that. If his passing is troubling you. Yeah, I agree. Charlie was definitely a man convicted in his faith. And therefore, he would want us rejoicing for him, not feeling sad. So, I know this isn't the normal stuff that I do, but we had to talk about this. And like Jamie said, it's not that I don't care, it's just a lot. And it is. It's very, very, it weighs heavily on your heart when you see all this stuff over and over again, when you're sitting there watching his wife up there bawling her eyes out, burying her husband, or watching the kids, or, just seeing people use them as political pawns instead of seeing them as actual human beings. It needs, everybody needs time to grieve, to go through the motions, get things done mentally and emotionally for themselves. Caitlin? Who said Caitlin? But yeah, we just need to take the time to grieve for ourselves, to make sure, check in with each other, pray with each other. I don't remember saying that, but I'm sorry. Okay. Um, all of this is creating more polarization, and that is the last thing we need in this country. If we create more polarization, all that's going to happen is more acts of violence are going to happen, and we don't want that. So, now I'll be honest with you. Anyone that I have seen that has laughed or celebrated or made horrible comments, I've deleted. They are no longer on my friends list. They are no longer part of my group. I have had people who were far leftists, okay, who have seen how disgusting their side has been during all of this, and they absolutely despise these people. They despise the Democrat Party right now. And I actually have one that wants me to take them to the pew pew range so that they can fire off some rounds and get used to having one and figure out which one they want to buy for themselves. Because they are afraid for themselves, because they see just how batshit crazy the far left has gotten at this point. So this can be a chance for us to reach out and win over people on the other that were on the other side of the aisle from us, that used to disagree with us on a lot of things, and bring them to our side. It just all depends on how we react and how we handle ourselves in this situation. Um, we need to be better people than that. We need to remember that final justice is never going to be ours. Right? Who can tell me who has final justice? Who will get us our final justice at the end? Yeah, Cal. Cal, exactly. Not only that, but bring them to God. I'm working on a couple people right now of doing just that. Um, I'm hoping that this is the catalyst that will change people's minds, that will get people to see that what happens when you get so far away from God. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about from God. And they can see the direct results of that playing out right now in our culture. The people who are suffering from mental illness, who are being egged on and said, oh, yeah, you can pretend to be a woman when you're not. You can pretend to be something you're not. If you want to be a cat or whatever, you can do that. Yeah, that's fine. No, it's not fine. Stop placating the mentally ill. It is not helping them. It is hurting them. It is sending them into a deeper, depraved spiral, which always ends in violence. Hi, Dave. Yes, Cal. Um, you know, when you bring somebody to God for the first time and they can feel that peace that comes with it, that can change everything for that person. Um, but again, it all starts with us understanding that we do not get final justice in any situation, whether it be a court hearing or anything. Jesus will get the final justice with everyone. Um, you know, if you look at the D5M or whatever it's called, the DSM or something, um, that is still on that list as a mental illness. They have not changed that. So I don't know why they're trying to push that. No, you're fine, Jamie. Not a problem. I'm not worried about it. But we also have to remember that evil is all around us. Okay. We have to protect ourselves, our family, and our friends from that evil through prayer and through fellowship with each other. We have to hold each other accountable for the actions that we do. If we have bad thoughts and pure thoughts, we need to tell somebody that we trust, that's not going to chastise us and tell us how bad of a person we are. That's going to sit there and say, hey, you know what? It happens. Pray on it. Ask for forgiveness and move on. Okay. I'm sorry if the chat's coming up and I'm not replying to it right away. My chat is very, very choppy right now. I might have to take the cat cam off and just put it on Screwtube and listen. Um, but we have an opportunity here to really change people's perception. And I'm not saying it's going to work with everybody. They want the orange floor. A floor is like a mix of between blur and fur. Dave was grabbing coffee. Did you get us all some, Dave? So, and I don't want to sit here and act like I'm preaching to y'all. I'm not. I'm just having a conversation with you. Um, but in the end, what we all have to do is we all have to come together. We all have to make sure that we're all doing okay. If we see that somebody's not doing okay, we need to reach out to them. We need to talk with them. Say, hey, what's going on? Um, just figure it out. Make sure um, that they're not getting lost in their own head and going down a dark spiral of their own. Because that would be really easy to happen right now. You know, back when it first happened, we did that lesson on why God lets bad things happen. And again, it comes down to our free will. People have the free will to do what they're going to do. And sometimes that includes hurting others. And that is a direct responsibility of the person who does it. That has nothing to do with God. Um, this past Sunday, we talked about the importance of being baptized. Um, somebody had asked if they can baptize themselves, and that answer is no. You cannot baptize yourself, and here's why. Even Jesus, who was God in man form, had to be baptized by someone else. So if God himself cannot baptize himself, what makes you think that you can? And I don't mean that to sound condescending. I just want you to understand that I want you to see how grave of a mistake that thinking is. Um, no, I want to throw this out there, Thomas. I have your order ready. I hope to get it to the post office tomorrow. Hi, Ann. How are you? Um, but anyone who wants to order flags and have them shipped out tomorrow, contact me today. These are for the foundation. Um, so yeah, but we just need to, while we are America first, we want to see our country do well. We also have to put our other citizens in that same group, even if we don't think like them. We have to remember that they're still our neighbors, they're still our countrymen and women, and we need to do better at making sure that they are okay. Yes, I do have yours. And I got extras today to make sure that I have some to cover for whoever wants to order them and get them shipped tomorrow. So I gotten a couple extra ones. Um, so it's dumping here all day. 51 heavy rain. We needed it, but it's getting old fast. But you don't have Bob, Dave. You should be happy not to have Bob. And think about it. If you were about another month and a half, 2 months from now, that would be a lot of snow. But so what's all going on with you all? What do you all have going on in your lives right now? Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do to help you with things. Is there anything in particular that you need prayer for? Is there anything coming up that you want to talk about that you think is important? It just started raining off and on here this afternoon. Thomas says, "Bite my tongue." Thomas isn't ready for snow yet, apparently. Oh my. Well, hold on a second, Cal. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. Never mind. That's the wrong. Don't accept that. I oopsed. I forgot I shared the YouTube link after. Okay, there we go. And there is some stuff going on. That didn't quite go as planned, did it, baby? The poor baby. If you didn't catch what happened just then, check your text message, Cal. Let you get the pontoon in first, then it can snow. All right, bud. Yeah, I understand that one. So apparently the cat was laying on top of the maps. I haven't got the maps up yet. I'm going to order some cardboard to put them on. And went to adjust and slid off the maps into the trash can. It was glorious. I'm sorry to hear that, Ann. Well, we've been praying for your brother and for your daughter-in-law's father. But you didn't. The mother, your mom's a new addition. We didn't know that one. So we'll add her to the prayer list. Cal, did you check your text messages, bud? Hmm? I don't know if it'll let me type on here. Yeah, well. Don't. That only went to the people. That only went to tag on it. That didn't work as planned. That doesn't make any easier, Ann. Hopefully your son's feeling better and you get some rest tonight. Oh, there he is. I'm actually going to cut this camera off. Okay, I see Cal, but he seems to be locked up at the moment. Did I send it to the wrong place again? All right. Cal will be back in a minute, I'm sure. But you definitely got a lot going on, Ann. We'll keep praying for you. Hopefully, we'll pray for the doctors and all that, and the family and stuff. All right, bud. No problem. We have an extra key, so I'll turn that. Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
Never mind.
what's going on, Ann?
Okay, I hear you.
There we go.
There we are. How are you, bud?
Ah,
I figured who better to give your good news than yourself, right?
well, yeah, I guess. Those of you who have been following along with my many tragedies and trials over the last couple of years know that I am no stranger to, let's just say, interesting situations. But finally, things are turning the corner. As I think everybody here knows that I recently got a car,
Mm-hmm.
Toyota Highlander. Very much enjoying that car. I completed my unarmed security training in 4 days. It would have been 3 days, but I was feeling sick one of those days. I was like, I'm only going to do 8 hours of class today instead of 12. So I got that done, and then I got my armed security done. On my field qualification, the actual range, I got 90, 90, 85, 95 on a man-sized
Nice.
target at various ranges from 1 to 25 yards. So I can hit the broadside of a barn. And then I took my state test and I got a 90% on that. And I filled my paperwork out with the state. It's been accepted. I'm just waiting for them to actually send me the card. And then once I do that, I'm going to start hitting up every security agency in the state of West Virginia, also Kentucky, northern Mississippi, and northern Alabama. Just keep my options open. Why not Tennessee? Because Tennessee would require me to go through all of the training I just did all over again. They have basically the same training setup as Oklahoma, just with fewer hours. But I would have to go through it again because they say so. Government's like, you got to have a license for things, and it can only be our license. I could try and transfer some of my hours over, but I'd still have to, So it's not worth the trouble. Kentucky is real simple. There's no real requirement for unarmed security, and armed security just has to go with Louisville police. You basically send them an email, say, here's my qualifications, here's my education certificates from XYZ. Can I have my permit? $150. But there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, just keeping my options open. Of course, West Virginia, as you all know, is the place I'm primarily looking at. I have found some amazing properties around there for like the price on some of these properties is just going way down. Today I saw a 900 something square foot 2-in-1 for 27.5, and it was in very good shape.
Nice.
Not perfect.
How much property
but
was with it?
Yeah, about not even a quarter of an acre, but it had like a nice footprint going straight back into a mountain.
Oh, nice.
I'm not a picky person. I don't need to be living at the Ritz-Carlton. I don't need 3,000 freaking square feet for me and 2 cats and maybe a dog later. So, I'm looking at these smaller houses, and I'll basically move wherever I can find work. It's always been my goal. But things are moving along.
The nice part about having the mountain right behind you is that it makes it hard for people to sneak up on you from behind you too, though.
That, and I can shoot into it. Go pew-pewing in my off time. Just something I've always wanted is just someplace I can get out into nature and be semi-isolated from both the problems of the world and the people.
Tom said that's a great attitude, Cal.
Yeah. So yeah, things are looking up. But I want to say you're right. You're right, Chris, about this being a very interesting time if we can take advantage of it. If we have, if we have the personal energy, let's say, to take care of it, because you were saying we got to take care of ourselves. Well, that's true. But if we're in a good enough mental place, like you said, you've got a couple of people that are fish are kind of coming at the hook. Now is a great time if you have the ability and you have the mental energy to do so. Don't try and do something if you don't, please. I'll be on you just as bad as Chris will. But if you do, and you know somebody who's a little starting to question the dogma of the other side, starting to question, am I really following God? And is the preacher who's saying that we need to accept this and that, and we can be open about this and that men can be women and all that sort of thing. Is he actually preaching the word? You see somebody questioning that, reach out, say, hey, come here. You've got questions? This right here, the Bible, read it yourself. It has answers. You want to find people who can read it with you? I know a group. I know some people. Or, come to my church. Come see my preacher. Listen to what he has to say. It's a great time when we can. This is a chance where the wound is grievous, but we have the best chance now of staunching that bleeding before it gets worse. And every single little thing that we do is going to go towards that. And that's what Charlie wanted in the first place. It's for us to heal each other. So, Thomas, I'm right there with you, but it's got to have a fishing hole. It's got to have a fishing hole. If it doesn't have a fishing hole, no deal.
You know what? That's all you need.
He wants a tar paper. Hey, he says he wants a tar paper shack in the wilderness. I'm fine with that, but I want a fishing hole, man. Drop a few lines in the water. So, since we're talking about self-care so much, and I know you ever so well, my dear friend Chris, how are you holding up?
I'm good. I'm just.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No. That's why I asked Tyler, if he was going to go live tonight earlier on Discord. If he was going to go live, I was only going to do an hour show because it's too much to ask people to sit for 4 hours out of 5 hours, because there's only a 1 hour break between when I start and when I end and he starts. So, but he said he's going to start going live more often. So we might have to adjust our times a little bit. But I've just been working with, talking to people, getting our name out there more often. So our name is getting out to a lot of different people, a lot of different groups. I have quite a few people who want to collaborate with us. Actually, now since you all are in here, we have an opportunity coming up to really connect with a bigger organization than what we are, that really wants to work with us. They are in the process of creating a veterans retreat down in Texas. They have a big event coming up here in November, and they would like me to be there for it. I told them I have to come to you guys and talk to you because we have to fundraise for it. I have to have transportation down and back. I have to, have money to get food, whatever. And, that has to go through you. I can't, if you guys are wanting to help fund it, I'm thinking about taking a train down, and because that would give me the most unrestricted thing. I wouldn't have to deal with a bunch of people. I don't know how my body would handle being in a plane with all the stuff that I'm on.
I wouldn't take a plane if you paid me.
But
not these days. When in November is it?
The week of November 15th. So, but and I said if I go, I'd have to look into getting at least a roomette, someplace I can actually lay down.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't make you do it like in old London where you have to slump against a bar in order to sleep.
Thomas says pig hunting. Well, maybe. I'll have to make sure I take my good knife with me, huh, Thomas?
Let her go find Matt Carricker.
But yeah, I mean, so I figured I'd throw that out now. That way we can figure it out. Because I would really like to work with them and get that up and running. And then that's an option for our veterans with our group. Hey, they've got these slots open. Do you want to go down? But it needs work. I would like to try and get some people together to go down and help work on it. I'm actually working on some friends of mine from Texas right now, to see if they'll come up and join me and stuff. But again, it's up to you guys, and if we can come up with the funds to facilitate it. But besides that, I have seen a lot of people coming to me and asking me different things about faith, about the Bible. I have this Sunday's lesson is already worked out. I had somebody come to me and ask me directly. They said, "What do you think happens to our loved ones when they leave this world?" Hey, Fred. And
hey, Fred.
I said, I know how I feel. I said, but I don't think that the Bible really says one way or another. Because she's like, well, I feel like our family members can come back and watch over us and this and that. And her pastor really upset her because her pastor said that once they leave this earth, they go to be with God and they don't look back. They don't check on us and this and that. And it really upset her. And so she asked me, she said, can you do a lesson, go through the Bible and see if you can find anything that talks about that? So I did scour and went through a couple Bible apps and typed in a couple of keywords and did some research on it. So we'll go through that on Sunday morning. So hopefully we'll see y'all there.
Oh, for sure.
And I appreciate you all coming to me and trusting me with those questions. If you have any questions, please know that there are no preconceived notions. I know what I think I know. But until we go back and we actually read through the Bible and see what the Bible tells us, again, I can be wrong about my preconceived notions, and we'll learn it. We'll learn it together. So,
Also, hi, Fred. I'm back on camera. You got to suffer to see my ugly mug.
Ann says, I would love
Also,
to
Fred,
hear
I
that
got new
lesson and
glasses.
look forward to seeing them. Well, I look forward to seeing you there, Ann.
Yeah.
Let me shoot Fred. I didn't think you would be awake, Fred. So give me a second here.
Oh no, I'm all alone. Whatever shall I do? And as I said, probably a year or so ago, once I'm done with this move, expect me to be a lot more involved in everything going on around here. Because I'm going to have more and better free time. I won't be. Because Chris, hell, most of you guys know me. I try to cook 5 things on a 4-pot stove all the time. If I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't be me. But I know my limits. And I know that if I got really deeply involved with the organization, I would end up doing too much. And I would forget to do the things I need to do for me. And I'm like, oh, well, I should have sold my house already. Oops. Don't want to be in that position. So, but after I move, do expect me to get more deeply involved. I'll join the Discord and get right up in there with y'all when I have spare time. Since I'll be in West Virginia, I'll be like hopefully within some kind of reach of Chris. It'll be a few hours no matter what. That's fine. That's whatever.
I can be in Charleston in less than 8 hours. So
yeah. So, and I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be in Charleston, Morgantown, or Beckley. I want Morgantown because it's closer.
Yeah, Morgantown would be about a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
Beckley would be about a 10-hour drive because Beckley's just below South Charleston.
Yeah, it's also up in the mountains, so you don't have a lot of straight shots to make up time with. So it is what it is. But no matter what, I am going to get a lot more involved with what's going on here as best as I possibly can. Because y'all are very important.
Ann brings up an important question here that I want to address real quick. Ann says, also missing Bible pages too, to my understanding. Okay, so let me explain why those, like the Book of Enoch, is not included in the Bible. The Book of Enoch, they cannot trace back to anyone like Peter or any of the disciples or any of the prophets. They don't know who wrote the Book of Enoch. So therefore, they cannot verify that it is an actual book of the Bible. So rather than put it in there and it be wrong and mislead people, and the stuff that's in the Book of Enoch, I don't think really talks about theology as much as it talks about demons and different monsters and stuff like that. So that's where we go with that. From my understanding, they had different conferences, and they traced the books back to find out if they could find out who wrote the books. And the books that are not in the Bible are books that they could not verify who the author was. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit more with that. I'm not saying don't go read those books. If you want to go read those books and see if there's something in there that reaches out to you or something, that's up to you. But just beware that they might be decoys and they might teach you things that don't mesh with the actual scriptures that are in the Bible that came down from the prophets and from the disciples and from Jesus Christ himself. As far as I know, it wasn't just the Vatican that was involved in those talks for the books. So I'm pretty sure there was different denominations from what I've read that were involved in that. So, I mean, if you think about it, when's the last time you went to a Catholic church? Because I don't remember seeing Catholic priests read out of a Bible ever when I went there. they go by cards that they have in front of you and stuff like that, and it's all kind of almost a ritualistic thing. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of the Catholic Church. I don't like the ritualistic stuff. Oh, we lost Kyle. So while I do agree with some of the stuff that the Catholic Church does do, which is the same tenets that we have, which is the Ten Commandments and stuff like that, I don't believe in works-based redemption. You cannot be saved by works. It is faith alone, grace alone, Christ alone. Those are the three things that can save you all together. No, don't be sorry, Cal. It's all good, bud. Well, and that's the thing, Ruth. Ruth says, I want to pin that real quick. Let me pin that, Ruth. All right. So Ruth said, I guess that's a huge difference. Jewish services follow the Torah and is read from directly. And a good Christian service should be read from the Bible. In all honesty, that's what we do. That's what I do. And I give you the verses to back up everything that I say. Okay. So that's where I come from. I've always went to churches where it was a Bible thumping pastor up front. He would come in, and the first thing he would do would be he would drop his Bible on the pulpit to get your attention and make sure you were awake to receive the lesson. And then he was going through the Bible and saying, we're going through this, and we would read a little bit, and he would make his points from the Bible. And that is how we need to get back to. Okay. We need to get back to the Word of God, not the Word of man. And so lots of churches look up to Catholic Church, and most churches donate to missionaries. One of my areas called New Tribes Mission. My actual church that I work with here, they do mission trips, but their mission trips are here in the States. They do work with a missionary that's overseas, but I don't know how that's going to work right now because our church was United Methodist, but with this whole crazy thing that they just did and went with, I am so glad that they've left they left the United Methodist Church. Right now we are non-denominational. So Bruce says, my channel, the way I am doing it is from a behavioral and humanities aspect. I want to look at the books, but also the lifestyle and culture that go with it. Cool. Yeah, I've watched one, I think, so far. I apologize. I'm trying to keep up with everything, and I fall a little bit behind, but I will get to watch everything here shortly. I get busy. I apologize for that. I try to be on Discord as much as I can. I try to make sure that I'm keeping you all engaged. And I know a lot of times I fail at that. But I am doing my best. I'm hoping to pull in some people that might be able to help more with keeping engagement going. New Tribes Mission head office is in the U.S., although that beautiful area around around my area for training and even have their own school. Cool. There's actually a mission in Redbird, Kentucky. And if you look it up, Redbird, Kentucky is actually the most impoverished county in the United States. They do not have even enough funds in their county to run their own school. So the mission runs the school. They do food giveaways every day. The people down there, most of them would not eat if it wasn't for the mission trip, the missionaries there. So yeah, our church has made numerous trips down there, and that would be another great thing for us as a group to do together. Um, I would love for us to be more than just an online group. I would love for us to actually get together and do different things across the country. If you know of a place around you that needs help with something, I would love for us to come up with the funds, for us to meet there, and for us to do some work there to help better that place. New church in another town in my area called Hope Church. Okay. Bruce says, I haven't had a chance to do another live, and this week is the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur next week. Yeah, it's a busy week for you all. I know that. So, and of course, there's all kinds of crazy rumors going around about this year's Rosh, the whole, there's all kinds of crazy rumors. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to, all I'm going to say is if it happens, it happens, and we'll just have to deal with it, right? There's no point in us overthinking it. There's no point in us worrying about it, because what does God say? God says, bring your cares and worries to me, and let me handle them. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But if we are truly in our faith, we have nothing to worry about, because in the end, we know where we're going. Mennonites have missionaries too, and know a couple who were missionaries in India, although live with it. Yeah, I will tell you this: I will never donate to Catholic missionaries or Mennonite missionaries, and here's why. Sorry, I'm this dust and everything from the harvesting and being out here. I have to clean up out here, but my sinuses are going crazy. Let's start with the Catholic missionaries. The reason I will not donate to Catholic missionaries is because when I worked in the waste disposal place, we got two skids that were stacked taller than I was, right? I was 6'4" back then. And in each of these boxes was about 100, if not more, of these care packages. There was stuffed animals for kids. There was toothbrushes, toothpaste, washcloths, soap, shampoos. And I mean, each box had at least 100 to 200 of these in them in Ziploc bagging. And each skid had at least 40 boxes on it. Okay? And they sent them to us for us to destroy them. And you know why? Do you know why they wanted them destroyed? Because if they didn't get them destroyed, they had them extra, and then their budget would get cut. Does that piss you off? Because it pissed me off. Why is a church destroying perfectly good things and worrying about their budget? Because if they didn't have a reason to get rid of all that stuff, they don't need the budget, do they? Bruce said, as my channel suggests, I look at the alternative view for all of that. I won't allow attitudes from others influence how I live my life. No, I get that, Ruth, and I agree. Everybody needs to learn for themselves. Everybody needs to do their own research. I can tell you all kinds of stuff, but until you actually look into it, you don't know if it's true or not. Now, I'm telling you from my experience that I dealt with this. This is something that I've had happen. I don't know how you're going to verify that, but now my issue with the Mennonite community and their missionary is they don't help people in the United States. Everything that you donate to Mennonite missionaries goes overseas. Did you know that? Yeah, no, that's great, Ruth. I applaud you for that. And I hope to make it to those as much as I can. So the further out that you can give us notice that you're going to be doing them would better help me, because then I can plan ahead of time to make sure I'm there. But these are my experiences. We have one of the biggest Mennonite missionary warehouses close to me, about 10-15 minutes from my house. And they do not do anything for our local community here. Again, everything goes overseas. And while I'm not against helping people overseas, I believe that charity starts at home first. We have to help our own before we help others. Does that make sense? But, um, you know, I love talking with you all. I love doing this. I love doing the Bible studies. Um, and Ruth, again, I like coming over there and learning more about your side of things, the Jewish side, and all that stuff. Because the more we learn, the better we understand each other, and the more we can work together. Hopefully, um, because this stuff of they're trying to tear us apart. They're trying to make us look at each other as the enemy, and that is what is turning in, leading to all this violence. Because if you don't see the other side as human, if you don't see them as your friends, as your equals, then you have absolutely zero problem with doing bad things to them, because they are not, you don't see them as the same. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we need to do better. We need to get others to see exactly what is going on. But here's the other alternative to it. The other alternative is we are going into Revelation. You're not taking the position of a scholar, so you are consulting with someone else in your interpretation, or just from what you've learned? I go by what I read in the Bible. From what I understand, the Bible is not open to interpretation. The only thing in the Bible that's open to interpretation is the parables, in my opinion, and from what I've read. Um, Everything else in the Bible is supposed to be fact and is not supposed to be, I'm not going to say it can't be questioned, but it is, you can go back and you can actually double check the different parts of the Bible to things that happened back then, and they match up. We can do that sometime if you want. I can set up a thing and go through different videos and pull out the different time frames of things that happened and pull them up in the Bible, and we can discuss stuff like that if you want. But I think that's one of the biggest problems with religion right now, is that too many people are interpreting and not reading. They're not understanding. They're trying to tell you what they think it means, instead of just reading it and letting you decide what it means. And it says Mennonite missionary lady said not having a funeral or burial does give you closure, but like I said, for some people can't do that without the funds. Yeah, we're gonna, I think next week, and we're gonna touch on that. I've heard differing views about cremation, and some people say that the Bible um, has says that you're not supposed to have be cremated. Theology says it is to be questioned, and that's what the pastors, ministers, and rabbis learn in seminary. See, I don't agree with that, and because if it's to be questioned, I can understand questioning it and saying, "Hey, did this actually happen?" when they say it happened. Um, but if we are to live in faith and believe that the Bible is real, then we are to take it at face value, are we not? And I don't expect everybody to agree with me on that. That's something that everybody can have their own view on. But that's the view that I hold. Again, I'm not saying not to question if things happen when they say they happen. It has been proven that Jesus was an actual man who lived. They have records of him. Um, and they actually have records of all the things that happened that they say in the Bible. Well, and that comes back to charity starting at home. Okay. If our neighbor doesn't have enough money to bury their loved ones, the community should come together and help with that. The local church should come together and help with that. So that's what I mean with, charity starts at home. Well, maybe that's why our theology has gotten so out of hand, Ruth, is because they've gotten that part of it wrong. Um, just my opinion. No, I get it, Ian, and I don't look down on you for that. But yeah, no, I'll watch and I'll see what it says, Ruth, and I'll go in with an open mind and see what see what I think afterwards. Maybe that'll change my mind. Who knows? Uh, but again, from what I know right now, that's how I teach. Um, so, and I hope I'm not teaching you the wrong way. I do my best to not do that. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, you see so many people out here who want to take scriptures of the Bible and they want to twist it and change it. They want to, you know, you have some people out, some pastors out there who claim that tithing is the thing that you have to do. But if you go and read, tithing was an Old Testament tradition. And if you go into it, tithing was not about money. Tithing was about food. You were supposed to tithe to the church food so that they could help feed the poor. And when the New Testament happened, when Jesus came and you know, in Christianity, the Old Testament ways were to go away. We don't have to do all those things anymore in Christianity, right? Um, if you read the Bible in the New Testament, God still wants you to give, but He wants you to give of your own devices. He wants you to make the decision. He wants you to give with a happy heart and a smile. But it doesn't say how much you're supposed to give. And it doesn't say you have to give all the time. So that's where I differ with a lot of pastors that do this prosperity gospel thing. Ian says, I watched the ostrich farms in British Columbia on YouTube that plan on them and were hoping U.S. would step into it. Oh, I don't think I've heard about that, Ian. I'll have to look into that. That's kind of crazy. Were they trying to take them out because of the bird flu thing? So, um, but yeah, that's the way I see things, and I don't expect everybody to think the same way I do. You know, um, now I've learned from some really great pastors, Ruth. Um, so, but again, the pastors that I've learned from were the old school Bible thumping, and they read from the Bible, and that's what their lesson was. They didn't go into these huge big stories and all that. You know, it was you did two traditional hymns during the service, and the rest of it was reading the Bible together and learning the Bible. So that's my background in it. I've read through the Bible numerous times from front to back, um, and again, I don't proceed to know everything. I don't think anybody can know everything about the Bible. There's so much information in it that no matter how many times we read it, we're going to learn something. So, I'm going to give me 1 second here. I got something for you. I just thought about it. Let me see here. Where is he at? There he is. That is my friend Jim Warren. He is a theology. Well, I guess he has his doctorate now. He has his master's in theology, and he goes into a lot of different things. Hey, Fred, how are you, bud?
Sorry, guys, I was in the store getting fuel.
Oh, you're good, bud. Hopefully, you're doing well.
I'm above ground.
Well, I consider that a good thing, but I don't know about the rest of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different videos in that YouTube link that I just sent, posted in the chat, and I'll post it on Discord as well. Hi, Jamie, welcome back. And you can go through, and I'm involved in those conversations. You'll hear him talking to me in a lot of those videos. But yeah, he was one of the major people that had a big influence on me when it comes to how I read the Bible and what I think. So, yeah, that'll give you maybe a better look into things as well if you're interested in watching them. So, what are we eating, good friend?
BLT grilled cheese.
Yummy.
Chris, the only thing I can tell you about that is as long as you believe what you say and you think it's your best interpretation, roll with it. You're not going to please everybody, and everybody has a different interpretation.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jamie says hi, Fred. So, but yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to argue with Ruth. I'm not. Again, I'm just saying how I see it. And
Your shot. Go round and round all day. Everybody has an opinion.
Daughter suggested the other night on Tyler's show that she wants to talk to me about another ideology of Messianic Jews, but I think she wants to take it as a change my mind. You know, I would start to listen, and if it turns into that, Ruth, just say I'm not interested and walk away. You know, if she's trying to turn it into a change my mind thing and you're not interested in that, then just tell her I'm not interested. You know, I don't know. I don't know enough about your religion, about the Jewish religion, to make a concept about it. I don't claim to. I just talk about Christianity. That's what I believe. That's what I know. Animal Farm, hello.
I don't think there is a wrong religion, just some folks see it different than others.
Bruce said, absolutely wasn't meant as an argument, just ask a question to know where you're coming. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. You know, I've never tried. I hope I haven't misled anybody by making you think that I know any better than anyone else. I've always been forward saying this is what I just read the Bible and we go off of that. So you know what I mean? Stupid. Caitlin, you see this? The only type of band-aid left because the kid uses all the damn band-aids and I have to walk around with pink and white band-aid on me. Crackhead. So this evening I'm also going to go on TikTok and do a live on there because I got to get some hours on there for my. You have to. I'm in an agency. I have to do so many hours and all that crap. Well, Ruth, I hope I'm teaching you well. I hope I'm giving you good things to think about when we talk. And again,
What happened to cow?
I hope you can go in and read the Bible verses that I'm posting. And if you don't agree with what I'm saying, come and tell me what you think. Tell me, hey,
Whoop
I
his
don't see it
ass.
that way. Animal Farm said those are the best. Bruce said the Canadian Jewish Observer seat. Hey, anyone's welcome to come and listen. I don't discriminate against anybody. You know, I always tell you is that the only time that it's too late to find religion is when you're dead. Most religions will up until the time you have until the time that you pass away to repent and stuff. So, but I suggest doing it sooner than later because you never know what can happen. You never know when your life could be snuffed out before you have a chance to make those amends and to take and go to God with your concerns. So that's why I
What happened to
urge
cow?
people not to put it off. A cow.
Where'd he go?
Oh, he kept crashing, so he
Oh,
didn't come back on.
okay.
He just came on to tell us that about his good news about passing his exams and stuff, and about being illegal to do armed security.
Cool.
So, yeah, Animal Farm says hi, Fred, with a big exclamation point behind it.
What's up?
So, oh no, but I'm just saying, Ruth, if you decide to do that, I'm not going to be upset with you. That's the Bible
Damn,
is the
Chris, don't get
Bible.
a hard on.
We all can. Bruce says I can't do what I want with my channel without getting the other ideas as I go through the different cultures and lifestyle. Yep, I get it. I've studied all different religions. I've studied the Jehovah's Witnesses. I've studied Catholicism. I've studied. I've even gone into like Hinduism and all that stuff just to understand the basic concepts. And once you understand those basic concepts, then you can start to decide, okay, this isn't for me, or you can decide if you want to learn more about it. Right?
I'm still here. I'm just wasn't
Yep,
very polite of me to be eating in front of y'all.
you're fine. I'm just hungry now, damn it. But yeah, I mean, from what I've read of all the other things, they all have a lot of the same tenets at their core. The biggest difference, I think, between Christianity and a lot of other religions is that a lot of other religions believe that you can do works for salvation. And there's even
Oh,
Christian sects that believe that. Catholics believe that you can do that.
I
But
think
if
the
you read
basic
go ahead, Fred.
I think the basic method is the same. The basic belief is the same
Yeah,
in all religions. It's
the basic
just
moral.
Pentecostals choose to worship this way, Baptists do this way, Catholics do this way,
Yeah,
and
there's so many different.
somewhere along the line, they get at odds with one another. It's nothing. There's no wrong way. It's just how you choose to
I have not been to
serve.
a church that I have not disagreed with them in one way or another. And I've been to many different churches.
My biggest problem with church, organized religion, and I know you're supposed to go and you're supposed to gather and fellowship. I understand that. I've been to too many hypocritical churches who believe we're right and they're wrong. I've been to in the very same church. The people up front are right, and people in back are heathens. I've been to same church, same exact church. People on the right side of the aisle are heathens, and people on the left side are saints. You know, it's too many cliques within one religion.
Yeah. Or you go in and you have those people that look down on everybody else because they're not dressed as good as them or something like that, along those lines. And I
I
don't agree
bring
with
one
any of it.
squirrel. I bring one squirrel in one church, and I can show them a whole new religion.
Ray Stevens, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Great Squirrel Revival.
Mississippi Squirrel Revival. Yeah,
That's a good song. I love
but you
that
know,
song.
there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, no, there is.
You get them under stress, you'll be surprised what some of them crackerheads will admit to and
Yep.
repent.
Yeah, I know.
And it's usually the leaders are the worst ones. That's my problem. It's usually the ones you would think never would do like that, and they are the most guilty, but going to condemn me over it. How you going to counsel me when you're worse than I am?
Well, I mean, look at Jimmy Swagger, Tammy, and the Bakers. You know, all of these big names, and it's still happening today. There is a channel on here called Not by Sight News. It's a blind Christian guy who runs it. And he goes through and talks about the different churches and the scandals that are going on in that church. You know, pastors being arrested for abusing children, from that to money laundering, all kinds of different crazy stuff that goes on in the church.
Benny
And
Hinn, I used to think Benny Hinn was. Oh no, he got caught up in some of his own mess. T.D. Jakes, I don't know what the heck happened to him, but he just fell out of the pulpit all of a sudden. He's trying to make a comeback, but I don't know.
he handed the church over to his daughter and son-in-law.
That's the best thing he could have done.
Well,
There's not any of us without sin.
no, and I admit
The
that
last
openly.
one, the last perfect man walked on water over 2,000 years ago. I'm just glad he loves me.
So Ruth said I've gathered all the books of scriptures and supplemental readings for them: Torah, Bible, Quran, Dianetics, Book of Mormon, and recently the Pagan Theory. That's
I'm
a
still
lot of
trying to
reading.
figure out that Scientology thing. I'm lost there.
Scientology is based on numbers, I believe. You got to be rich to be a Scientologist.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how they make this a religion.
Anything can be made into a religion, Fred. We can have a religion. We can make a religion of hats. If you don't have a certain hat, you can't go to heaven. I'm sure somebody's tried it. Unfortunately, you know, anybody can start a church and say that this is my religion, and it gets recognized by the government as an actual church. And it's crazy to me. You know, you would think that there would have to be some kind of theology behind it that they have to prove, but no, they can just say, I'm starting my own church. It's a church based on this hat here, and if you don't have this exact hat, you can't get to heaven. And the government will recognize it as that.
Hence the separation of church and state.
Which, if you go through the Constitution, there is no such thing, by the way. It's a made-up thing by the judiciary.
Okay, still, the reason that
I
was
get what you're saying, Ruth,
the
and
reason
I've done
that
that.
was put out there though is so you can't use your faith to sway. It happens every day, but you're not supposed to be able to.
Well, here's the problem with that, Fred. And it's coming up more and more scholars are starting to realize it. Our Constitution only works in our law, the way that our laws were originally laid out only works if it is a religious basis to it. Once you get away from the religion, you get away from morals. And once kids don't have morals, they think that they can do whatever they want, which is why you have all the problems that we have in our country right now, in my opinion. You know,
Well, then their mamas and daddies don't want to deal with them, so they ship them off.
Yep. Then they become property of the school, and then the school throws their indoctrination shit into them and makes them even worse. Bruce said, are in some cases the cults as well. Yeah.
No.
No, you're fine, Ruth. Don't be sorry. It's part of the conversation. I appreciate you know, having a conversation with me. Again, I've been to almost every denomination of Christian church that I know of.
Or you.
And I have not found a single one of them that does not have something that I do not disagree with. That should tell you something right there and of itself. That there's just a problem there. And until the church is unified again and actually works together, this is going to continue to happen. Until we hold the leaders of our churches accountable for the sins that they do against children, against the church, and against people in the church, this is going to continue to happen. We are going to continue to get a bad name with people. People are going to despise us. And you're going to see violence carried out against the church because people are not getting the justice that they deserve. Okay. So again, and on Sundays I talk about this all the time. Accountability. We have to hold each other accountable, whether it's us, whether it's the pastors, whether it's the music directors. If somebody in our church or our religious centers is doing something wrong, they need to be weeded out. They need to be brought to justice and never be allowed to be put in that position again. That's not to say that they can't repent and come back to religion, but they should never be leading a religion again. So, but that's just my opinion on it. Ann says, yes, I have been to many too and always find something don't agree with myself. Yeah, I mean, here's the other part of it. You've got to be discerning with what Bible you're reading. There are some of these Bibles who have completely and totally changed the way the scripture is written to make it read something that it's not supposed to read. So that's another thing that we need to be wary of. Back in, I think it was 1969, Paul Harvey did a thing called The Devil. And if you've never heard it, you need to go and listen to it. Because he goes through and says, hey, if I was the devil, this is what I would do. And he goes down through everything that's going on, and everything fits, even to this day. And he's been gone for almost 20 years now, I believe. Bruce says, I went to church when I was with my ex-husband, and he went to temple with me. Nice. That's good. That gives you a better understanding of each other. And that's a good thing. You know, if more people were more understanding and got to know stuff like that about each other, I think that in most polar parts, it would be a better place. I think that I hope there isn't a cat in the road. Oh well. But you know, we can't always expect everyone around us to believe the exact same thing that we do, because that's never going to happen. We are never going to ever meet somebody who thinks the exact same way we do. But to find people that you trust, even though you don't believe exactly the same way, that's a huge thing. And they're going to be the best people that you can make friends with. So, Richard doesn't have an interest in church, but the feeling is the same. Okay. Yeah. In the end, we all have to answer for the way that we lived and the way we believed. So I'm not going to tell somebody else they're wrong, because in the end, I might be wrong. And yeah, I don't think I am, but who knows? And it says, I don't believe you have to dress up to go to any church, in my opinion. If I'm going to church, I'm going to dress up. And here's why. I'm not saying you have to, because if you don't have the means, you don't have the means. But if you're going to worship God, first off, God does not say anything about how you dress. We'll just be honest about that. There's nothing that I have ever seen in the Bible that says anything about how you dress. I get it, but I also get what he was saying. If you're from two different religions, you're never going to fully commit to one religion or another, I believe. So it kind of creates a conflict of interest. But I get it. I understand. And again, I don't expect anybody to completely agree with everything that I say. Not baby. Are you getting wet? But all right, y'all. I hate to do this, but I got to wrap it up there. I will post on Discord when I go live on TikTok, and we'll hang out there for a little bit. Over there, we can have music on and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll find something to listen to, and we'll chit chat. So, but thanks for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you for the engaging commentary and questioning. I appreciate it. I don't have a problem with asking questions, so please don't ever think that I get upset about that. Yeah, I don't hold it against people what they can afford to dress as. That's not fair to them. So that's not something I do. But I appreciate y'all. Have a great night. I'll see you on Discord if you're on there. But yeah, we'll see y'all soon. Have a great night, everybody. See you later.